I'm sure if you're watching this video, you felt that pain and frustration of being super inconsistent. Some games you feel on top of the world and are able to wipe every squad with minimal ease, and the next game you feel like you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat. Well, hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the reasons why you may be experiencing these inconsistent games and then give you some ways to fix them. Apex does have some aspects of RNG with loot, weapons, attachment, but the right knowledge you won't be affected by those things as much. The 301 is good, but the flatline is better. With our new Manscaped partnership, your girlfriend will never be wetter. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, fellas, and you don't want your junk to look like it just came out of a Star Wars episode. Our brand new partner Manscaped sent me this package to try, and I've gotta say, with this, my balls are now smoother than Mirage's voice lines. Their new Lawnmower 4.0 is amazing. It reduces nicks and it's also waterproof, so your family jewels will be looking spick and span and ready to jam. They also sent me this stuff, which is called ball deodorant, and I had no idea that something like this even existed, and it has changed my life. It does help you with chafing, but on top of that, for people that are gaming like you and me in those long extended sessions, it does help with your swamp crotch so that no matter what, you'll always be ready to go. So if you guys want to get a package like this for yourself, click the link in the bio right now and use code HOSTESS at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Honestly guys, go check it out, you won't be disappointed and your balls will thank you. Now returning to Apex, let's start talking about why you are inconsistent, and the first reason is that you have bad habits. Every single person that plays Apex has bad habits, and I do mean everyone. But what separates a top level player from a mid-tier player is how they deal with them. I'm sure that at least some of you watching have chalked your bad habits to just being inconsistent because it's a lot easier than actually dealing with what's holding you back. A good example of a bad habit is not using your Legend's utility or just flat out wasting it. And this will lead you to dying in game way more often than you should be, but also it could result in less kills or assists. That means you may not gain as much RP and makes you feel like you're hard stuck in a rank, adding on to your mindset of not being able to improve and just making you think you're inconsistent. The thing that you need to keep in mind here though is that you aren't actually inconsistent, you're just bad. And I know that does sound a little harsh, but sometimes things like that are needed to be said to snap you back into reality and help you learn. So sorry to be blunt, but it is needed. Over time as a player, you need to understand your bad habits and when you make them. Things to help you do this is to record your games and watch them back in between queues or after your sessions. You can watch your fights and see if there's something you do over and over that leads to you being caught out or taking too much damage. Another bad habit I see a lot of low elo players make when coaching is that bloodhounds will throw out their scans when they know where everyone is already. If you know where all three enemies are, you don't need to scan because you can just give callouts. If you scan, wasting it, and then they reposition, you'll have no idea where they went and you don't have scan to see them. This can lead to them getting easy shots and winning the fight, all because you threw one ability out when you didn't need to. Small things like that matter when playing Apex. Another bad habit is taking unfavorable engagement, stuff like swinging into 1v2s or 1v3s all the time. That's a prime example. And maybe at your rank sometimes you're able to knock somebody or get a lot of damage out before you die. But even though you can do this some days, that doesn't mean it will work every time and can lead to you throwing a lot of fights. This is a stupid thing to do. Even though you may have knocked one, your team might not be able to follow up right away, and that lets the enemies reset and your damage was worth nothing in the long run. Now the next topic is something that kind of plays into bad habits but not really at the same time. This is not being able to adapt. This is a huge issue for players that a lot of them don't even know they have. A lot of Apex players, and I mean a lot, have a bag of tricks that they use in every single fight no matter what. Maybe it's something you saw Asu or Imperial Hal, or even something you saw on TikTok and it worked for them, so you tried it out, saw good results the one time, and now you do it every single game over and over and over. And if it doesn't work, you have no idea how to handle it and start to panic. These small bag of tricks are called gimmicks, and don't get me wrong, some players can use these gimmicks to extreme effect and do really well with them. Samc had his tap strafing, Fate had his ziplines, Caution has his grenade throws, Squirrel has his slingshots. There are all sorts of examples. So I'm not trying to say don't have something that works for you, but what I am trying to say is don't over rely on it and learn other things, so that if your plan A doesn't work, you still have B or C or D to move on to and help you win that fight. If all you're doing is relying on gimmicks to help you climb, eventually you'll run into people that know how to handle them and will shut you down easily. And this doesn't just go for gimmicks, this also applies to the people that have only one or two ways that they know how to play the game. They have a set plan in mind before the game even starts, and if it doesn't go the way they thought it would, they shut down and don't know what to do. Also, I know that most people have a legend that they love to play. I know I do. But sometimes a harsh reality is they aren't that good after certain ranks. In low elo, you may be able to get away with them, but as soon as you start to climb higher and higher, players will understand how to exploit them and use the holes in your team comp against you. So as much as some people don't like to swap off their main in ranked, it is best to learn how to play at least one meta character so that you can be more useful to your team and have less holes that enemies can use against you. Take Mirage for example. In Gold or Platinum, players may not be as well trained on how to spot who the real one is. But for someone like me, I know the tiny details that point out the real one. So in most scenarios, I'm able to find Mirage and kill him because he doesn't know that I know. These are some of those things that play into being inconsistent, because some games your gimmicks or plans work out and then sometimes they don't. Sometimes the legend you play works out and sometimes it doesn't. But once you learn how to adapt and play around new people and other things like that, you'll see it was a lot easier than you thought to climb. Now, the next thing to keep in mind that may be contributing to this feeling is that solo players are fighting an uphill battle. Apex Legends is a team game. As much as we would all love to think we can kill the entire lobby by ourselves, you just can't. You need that team to back you up and help you out in situations. Now, sometimes the team you get may be really good and mesh well with your own personal playstyle, and sometimes they won't. It's part of the game and you're gonna need to learn how to roll with it. I personally have solo queued to Masters and I regularly play solo in high tier ranked lobbies. I know that sometimes the teammates you get feel like they're sharing 3 brain cells fighting for second place. But on the other hand, sometimes you get players who give callouts, play legends based on what the team needs, all amazing things like that. So when you have bad teammates, you feel like you play worse, and with good teammates, you feel like you're better. That's not being inconsistent, that's just Apex. Bad teammates who can't hit shots or don't give callouts aren't really helping you play to the best of your ability. Now, this isn't an excuse for sucking some games. Don't blame your team, that's another bad habit and something that isn't productive. However, for the sake of your mental state, you have to realize that some games are out of your control. Sometimes it will be a bad game, but there is still a lot you can learn from bad games and use that to improve for the next ones. Chalk it up to a bad game and move on. Don't dwell on that or allow it to make you angry. It's not worth it. If you're not mentally calm, you won't be focused on the next game, and that can lead to you making dumb mistakes and play back into you just thinking you're inconsistent. Now, as much as I'd love to tell you this will be an overnight success story, it just won't happen. It will take time for you to break those bad habits or learn to adapt to situations, so you just need to put your nose to the grindstone and play the game. And to top things all off, I will give you some basic tips to help you out be more consistent. These are rapid fire style, so keep up. Number 1 is warm up before your games. Play around to the firing range for a few minutes to shake off the rust. Number 2, don't have bad posture. If you're not sitting up straight, start to do this. Not only will it help with your back pain, but if you sit in the same position every time, you'll develop muscle memory to help you out with your aim. Number 3, don't play ranked if you're tired. If you just came home from school or work and are gassed, don't throw your RP. Just play pubs to relax and then get some rest. Number 4, also don't play ranked if you're upset. It makes your decision making worse and will lead to lost games. And number 5, play the same legends as often as you can. Learning all the ins and outs of a specific legend is huge in helping you win more fights and games. I really hope this guide was a big help for you guys to learn more about what's holding you back in Apex. These are issues I myself and even my pro team run into, so don't think you're alone. But now I do need some help from you. Drop a comment down below on issues that you guys have in game. This then allows me to pick some popular topics and make videos based on that, helping out the community. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you in the next one.